The Summers family, a tight-knit American unit, embarked on an exciting journey to the mesmerizing Bahamas Islands. Sarah Summers, a 40-year-old environmental scientist, was the backbone of their family. Her expertise wasn't limited to her work. It also extended to her role as the family's enthusiastic planner. John Summers, Sarah's 42-year-old husband, was a former Navy SEAL turned maritime engineer. His extensive knowledge of the sea made every adventure both thrilling and safe. At 18, their son Jake was curious and had a heart of wonder for the natural world. The family had come to the Bahamas seeking the ultimate marine adventure, a close encounter with these azure waters' diverse and vibrant underwater life. Setting their course for the Abaco Islands, they charted a path to a remote, untouched cove, known only to a few experienced sailors. Their boat, the Sea Voyager, was a sturdy vessel equipped for exploration, with diving gear, snorkels, and enough supplies to last a week. Their decision to venture off the beaten path was driven by Sarah's desire to study the unspoiled marine ecosystems, documenting the impacts of climate change on coral reefs in this less explored region. John, always up for an underwater escapade, saw it as an opportunity to bond with his family and share his love for the sea with Jake. As they sailed further from the bustling tourist spots, the Summers family relished the tranquility of the remote islands. The clear turquoise waters, vibrant coral formations, and abundant marine life made the journey even more enchanting. On the fateful day of June 17, 2001, they anchored the Sea Voyager in a hidden cove off the Abaco Islands, eager to begin their underwater exploration and immerse themselves in the beauty of the Bahamian seas. Sarah, John, and Jake donned their snorkeling gear, and with hearts full of anticipation, they descended into the crystal-clear waters. Exploring the vibrant coral reefs, they marveled at the kaleidoscope of marine life beneath the surface. Schools of colorful fish darted in and out of the coral formations, creating a mesmerizing aquatic ballet. Sarah meticulously documented her findings while John and Jake swam alongside her, their faces lit up with wonder. As the family ventured deeper into the submerged world, an eerie feeling washed over them. The water grew darker and the once calm sea began to churn. Out of the profound blue abyss materialized a single imposing tiger shark. The once calm ocean became a battleground, the water swirling with raw energy as the shark homed in on a potential meal. Drawing from his maritime knowledge and survival training years, John signaled for his family to gather close to him. They knew that provoking the shark further was not the answer. Sarah, gripped by fear, knew the urgency of their situation. She began to swim slowly and steadily toward the nearest boat, signaling her family to follow her movements. Their only hope lay in reaching safety. With an abrupt burst of aggression, the tiger shark lunged at John, its enormous jaws clamping onto his leg. The excruciating pain that shot through him was searing, but he remained calm. He remembered the survival tactics he had learned and maintained eye contact with the shark, while gently pushing it away with his free leg. This tactic distracted the shark and bought him precious seconds. In the turmoil, Jake, wide-eyed and trembling with terror, stuck close to his mother as they continued to swim towards the boat. They knew that staying together and minimizing sudden movements was their best chance at survival. Paralyzed by the weight of fear and desperation, Sarah could only watch in anguished horror as her family faced the relentless onslaught of the shark. But she knew they had to stay composed. With grit and determination, Sarah, John, and Jake pooled their collective strength and resourcefulness, wielding their snorkeling gear in a carefully coordinated effort to deter the circling shark. They extended their fins and raised their snorkels high, creating an intimidating visual presence as they maintained their unyielding resolve. In response, the shark exhibited behaviors indicative of its cautious nature, veering away momentarily as it assessed the situation. These synchronized movements and the use of their snorkeling gear as improvised deterrents bought them precious moments in the dangerous depths. As they resurfaced, battered and breathless, the water around them took on a gruesome hue, stained by the blood of their struggle. With severe wounds, John's leg bore the brunt of the attack, but he remained focused on their goal, reaching the boat. Despite their waning strength, the family's shared determination remains powerful, sustaining them through the harrowing ordeal. Although initially overwhelmed by shock, Sarah felt the urgency of the situation intensify. She clenched her teeth against the fear and tried her best to stem the relentless bleeding from John's grievous wound, all while providing solace to a terrified Jake. In a twist of fate, their salvation arrived swiftly. A fellow snorkeler, who had witnessed the horrifying attack unfold from a distance, called out for help. The boat crew, alerted by the frantic plea, sprang into action swiftly. With the grace of seasoned rescuers, they extended a lifeline to the embattled family, pulling them aboard the boat. Their faces bore the unmistakable marks of pain and trauma, yet they clung to the fragile thread of hope that had woven its way through the chaos. John's leg, a brutal testament to the ocean's capricious power, remained the focus of their collective anxiety. The boat raced back to the shore, every minute feeling like an eternity for the wounded family. They were met by a team of paramedics alerted to their situation. In excruciating pain, John was rushed to the nearest hospital, where doctors fought tirelessly to save his leg. The damage was severe and it was touch and go for a while, but after hours of surgery and multiple blood transfusions, they managed to stabilize him. Sarah, though physically unharmed, was emotionally devastated by the traumatic events that had unfolded. Her husband's life hung in the balance, and their idyllic family outing had turned into a nightmare. She clung to Jake, offering him whatever solace she could amidst the chaos. As for Jake, he had narrowly escaped physical harm, but the mental scars from the shark attack ran deep. Nightmares would haunt his sleep for months to come, and the once adventurous teenager now viewed the ocean with fascination and terror. John's road to recovery was long and grueling. He underwent extensive physical therapy to regain the use of his leg, but the damage was too severe. Eventually, he had to make the painful decision to have it amputated below the knee. It was a devastating loss, but John's resilience and the unwavering support of his family saw him through. The Summers family emerged from their traumatic ordeal forever changed. The azure waters they had once found so inviting were now a haunting reminder of the day their lives were turned upside down. They leaned on each other for strength, their bond more robust than ever as they navigated the challenges of physical and emotional recovery. Their story served as a stark reminder of the unpredictable and unforgiving nature of the sea. Despite their horrors, the Summers family found solace in their love for each other, unyielding spirit, and determination to rebuild their lives, one step at a time. In the coastal town of Clearwater, Florida, lived a man named David Mitchell, a 35-year-old insurance agent who had always been drawn to the ocean. With sun-kissed hair and a perpetual tan, David epitomized the laid-back beachgoer lifestyle synonymous with the Florida Gulf Coast. He was known for his love of bodyboarding, a passion that had grown over the years. Originally from Michigan, David had moved to Florida to pursue his dream job. The insurance industry provided him with a comfortable life, but it was the ocean that truly captured his heart. He would often spend his weekends riding the waves, finding solace and exhilaration in the rhythm of the sea. David's closest companion and bodyboarding buddy was Daniel "Danny" Rodriguez, a childhood friend who had also relocated to Florida from Michigan. Their friendship had stood the test of time, and the ocean had only strengthened their bond. Danny was a fellow adventure enthusiast, and the duo shared countless waves and unforgettable beach moments. One fateful summer day in August of 1997, David and Danny decided to take advantage of the warm, crystal-clear waters of the Gulf of Mexico. They packed their bodyboards, donned their wetsuits, and set out for an afternoon of surfing. The beaches were bustling with activity as tourists and locals alike reveled in the sun and surf, unaware of the impending danger that lurked beneath the surface. As David and Danny ventured further into the water, they couldn't help but reflect on their life in Florida. They had built a close-knit circle of friends who shared their love for the ocean, and they cherished every moment they spent riding the waves together. Today was no different, or so they thought. Little did they know that this excursion would become a defining moment to test their courage and resilience in the face of a relentless predator. David and Danny continued their bodyboarding adventure, riding the waves with exhilaration. As David paddled out to catch another wave, he noticed a sudden change in the water's movement. It became turbulent and erratic, as if an invisible force were manipulating the waves. He paused, trying to make sense of this unusual phenomenon when, without warning, the water's surface erupted in an explosion of spray and foam. A massive bull shark, its sleek and muscular body glistening in the sunlight, breached the surface with astonishing force. Its jaws opened wide, revealing row upon row of razor-sharp teeth, and it was headed straight for David. The time seemed to slow as David registered the impending danger. With heart-pounding terror, he realized he was about to become the target of a predator's ruthless assault. Desperation kicked in as the shark closed in, and he fought to evade the oncoming threat. The shark's powerful jaws clamped down on David's leg, a searing pain coursing through his body as the merciless predator tore into his flesh. Blood clouded the water around them as David screamed in agony, locked in a life-and-death struggle with the apex predator. Still in the water nearby, Danny watched with growing concern as the chaotic scene unfolded. The ocean around them became a battleground of survival. With quick thinking and a pounding heart, he used his bodyboard and began slapping it against the water's surface, creating loud splashes and vibrations in an attempt to startle the shark. The bull shark, momentarily taken aback by the sudden noise and vibrations, released its grip on David's leg and retreated into the depths. David, now bleeding and in pain, knew that time was of the essence. They needed immediate medical attention to have any chance of survival. Danny's instinctive response with the bodyboard had bought them a brief respite in this perilous situation. With every ounce of strength they could muster, they began their painstaking journey back to the safety of the shore. David's leg throbbed with excruciating pain as he clung to his bodyboard, which had become a makeshift flotation device. Blood continued to trickle from his wounds, mingling with the salt water, creating a macabre trail that only heightened their fear of another shark attack. Danny, determined to protect his friend and himself from further harm, stayed close, ready to fend off any potential threats. The memory of the shark's relentless assault replayed in their minds, fueling their determination to reach safety. A sense of relief washed over them as they approached the shallower waters near the shoreline. But their ordeal was far from over. The pain and exhaustion had taken a toll on David, and his strength waned with each passing moment. With Danny's support, they finally staggered onto the beach, their bodies trembling with shock and adrenaline. Bystanders rushed to their aid, horrified by David's mangled leg. Someone had already called for an ambulance, and the sound of approaching sirens offered a glimmer of hope. Paramedics arrived swiftly, their professionalism evident as they attended to David's injuries. The gravity of the situation was palpable, and David was swiftly placed on a stretcher, his leg immobilized to prevent further damage. Though physically unscathed, Danny bore the emotional scars of witnessing his friend's near-fatal encounter. He provided the necessary information to the medical team while grappling with the trauma of the shark attack. The journey to the hospital was a blur for both of them. David's pain was dulled by medication, and he drifted in and out of consciousness. Danny sat by his friend's side, his thoughts filled with relief that they had survived this terrifying ordeal. At the hospital, David underwent emergency surgery to repair the extensive damage to his leg. It was a long and agonizing process, but the medical team's expertise and David's resilience saw him through. For Danny, the psychological wounds ran deep. The trauma of witnessing the shark attack haunted his dreams, and the guilt of being unable to prevent it weighed heavily on his shoulders. The experience had forever altered their perception of the ocean, transforming a place of wonder into one of danger. Their families, who had rushed to be by their sides, provided much-needed emotional support during recovery. The bond between David and Danny, forged through the crucible of this life-threatening ordeal, would only strengthen in the face of adversity. As they left the hospital, their bodies and minds scarred but resilient, they couldn't help but wonder how that brutal encounter would affect their lives with the great white shark. The ocean, once a source of joy and fascination, had become a realm of primal fear, its depths concealing untold mysteries and dangers. In the picturesque coastal town of Mervick, nestled along the pristine shores of the Pacific Ocean, 3 adventurous friends from Belgium embarked on a journey they would never forget. Emily Dubois, a 17-year-old law student with long, sun-kissed hair, was joined by her companions Sarah de Klerk and Thomas Van Dam. While Emily was not an experienced surfer, her friends had convinced her to try something new during their summer vacation in June 2005. The trio had spent days exploring the charming town of Mervick, enjoying its coastal cuisine and relishing the warmth of the locals' hospitality. Though not a seasoned surfer, Emily couldn't help but smile at the sheer exhilaration of it all. She was an avid swimmer back in Belgium and felt comfortable in the water, even if the ocean was more unpredictable than the pools she was accustomed to. As they reached deeper waters, Emily marveled at the vastness of the sea, its azure depths stretching out endlessly. Unbeknownst to Emily, Sarah, and Thomas, their decision to surf in these deeper waters would soon lead them to a scary encounter with one of the ocean's most formidable predators. Mervick was a place of legends among surfers, known for its towering waves and challenging breaks. The trio had decided to take on the ocean's mighty waves, led by Sarah, who had some surfing experience. Sarah was a free-spirited soul, her laughter contagious and her spirit adventurous. Thomas, the group's brains, had meticulously researched the best surf spots in the area. The sun painted the sky in shades of orange and pink as they paddled out to where the waves were at their best. The rhythmic sound of crashing waves echoed in their ears, a siren's call for surfers chasing that perfect ride. With each stroke, excitement coursed through their veins, and the thrill of adventure beckoned them forward. Emily, determined to master the waves, positioned herself on her surfboard. She observed Sarah and Thomas skillfully catching waves, their laughter echoing through the air. Driven by the desire to share in the thrill, Emily eagerly awaited the perfect wave. Like an evil phantom, an ominous figure surged beneath Emily. In an instant, the tranquil waters transformed into a chaotic storm. Emily's surfboard was brutally rocked, and she plummeted into the churning sea. As Emily resurfaced, disoriented and gasping for air, she faced a horrifying reality. A colossal great white shark, an ocean apex predator, circled her. Panic coursed through her veins as the enormity of the threat became unmistakably clear. Sarah and Thomas, a short distance away on their boards, were paralyzed with shock as they beheld the nightmarish spectacle unfolding before them. Their friend, trapped in the watery realm of a ruthless predator, was in grave danger. As the great white shark lunged at Emily with lightning speed, it clamped down on her leg, its razor-sharp teeth sinking deep into her flesh. The initial shock and pain were overwhelming, and Emily struggled to stay calm as she grappled with the reality of the situation. Seconds later, the shark's behavior abruptly changed. Its movements became more erratic, and its grip on Emily's leg loosened. In a sudden and unexpected twist, the shark seemed to realize that Emily was not the prey it had initially mistaken her for. With a quick flick of its tail, the great white shark released its hold on Emily's leg and began to swim away, its powerful form disappearing into the depths of the ocean. Sarah, who had witnessed the entire harrowing event, paddled towards Emily as fast as she could. The adrenaline pumping through her veins fueled her efforts to reach her injured friend. With a determined effort, she pulled Emily onto her surfboard. Thomas, his heart pounding, managed to scramble onto his board while keeping a vigilant watch on the vast expanse of the sea. In their frantic escape, Sarah and Thomas paddled with all their might, their adrenaline-fueled efforts propelling them toward the safety of the shore. Emily's leg throbbed with excruciating pain, her body weakened by the relentless attack. Blood tainted the water around her, a stark reminder of their narrowly escaped peril. As they finally reached the shore, their legs trembling with exhaustion, the total weight of the harrowing encounter descended upon them. Emily's injured leg was mangled, a gruesome testament to the ferocity of the great white shark's assault. The coastal adventure they had embarked upon had transformed into a nightmarish battle for survival, leaving physical and emotional scars that would linger long after the salt water had dried from their skin. The sandy shore, once a symbol of serenity, became the site of their deliverance from the abyss. With Emily's life hanging in the balance, Sarah and Thomas sprang into action, desperately calling for help. Nearby beachgoers rushed to their aid, summoning emergency services to tend to Emily's grievous leg wound. As the paramedics arrived, their faces contorted with concern at the sight of Emily's mangled leg. It became abundantly clear that the trio's lives had been forever altered. Emily was swiftly transported to a waiting ambulance, her cries of pain echoing in the hearts of her friends. At the hospital, the grim reality of their situation settled in. Emily underwent several surgeries to save her leg. The indomitable spirit of youth had collided with the relentless power of nature, leaving scars that would serve as a lasting reminder of their battle with the great white sharks. The news of their harrowing encounter spread like wildfire, igniting discussions on the delicate balance between humanity and the wild, untamed ocean. Months of grueling physical therapy and emotional healing followed, with Emily, Sarah, and Thomas emerging stronger than ever. The scars on Emily's leg were a permanent reminder of the indomitable will that had seen her through the darkest days. Their shared experience had forged an unbreakable bond, a testament to the strength of their friendship. The ocean, once a source of joy and adventure, had bestowed upon them a harsh lesson in the unpredictability of nature. Yet, they emerged from the depths of despair, scarred but not defeated. With each passing day, as they gazed out at the endless expanse of the sea, they acknowledged its incredible power and respected its untamed beauty. The great white sharks had left an indelible mark on their lives, a reminder that in the face of nature's ferocity, the human spirit could endure and emerge stronger, ready to face whatever challenges lay ahead. And so, as the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a golden glow upon the tranquil waters, Emily, Sarah, and Thomas stood side by side, their friendship unshaken, their spirits unbroken, and their hearts forever connected by the shared memory of a day when the ocean had tested their mettle and they had emerged triumphant.